Hello, we are live. Welcome back to the Silver Screen Show. I'm your host, Labruski. With me, as always, is my good friend Aidan. Aidan, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. My
No
brother's in
problems.
the chat, Nicholas Brewer.
Cool,
He
cool.
loves Dune, apparently.
Oh, great,
Nick, have you
great.
seen the second one? We're going to talk about both today. But I'd be curious to know if you have seen the second one. Um, but before we dive in, what have you been watching lately?
I just saw a movie on Gary Hart called The Front Runner. It was actually the same guy who did Saturday Night.
Okay.
Um, it's about Gary Hart, who was like a politician in the '80s, who was
I feel
really.
like I've heard of that. Is that with Hugh Jackman?
It is, yeah, it is.
Yeah,
I
I've
think it
heard of
got
that.
kind of mixed reviews, but I liked it. I thought it was a good movie.
I
Bill Burr was in it too.
yeah, I remember when that came out. I haven't seen it. I don't know why I remember it, but I do. But you said it was okay?
No, I thought it was a really solid movie. I mean, it's not groundbreaking or anything, but it was. I didn't see any flaws. I didn't see why it was not as praised. I've seen movies that get a lot of praise that were worse. So,
Yeah, I'll have to check it out. What's it? Is it streaming on anything?
um, no, I don't think so. Or, God, I
Well,
can't
that's a
remember
bummer.
where I watched it, but it might have been
Well,
Netflix.
let me see because I do like politics a lot.
Yeah, that
Uh,
was that was something that attracted me to it. It was like it's more about it's less about the policies and more about like being a vanity kind of reporting where it's about like him cheating on his wife and it kind of
right,
derails his campaign.
right.
But yeah.
Um, Looks like it might be streaming on Hulu.
Oh, okay. Okay, that must have
I
been
might
where
have
I
to check
watched
that
it.
out because have you ever seen Frost versus Nixon?
Of course. That's an
I
amazing
love
film.
that movie.
I
I
love that
absolutely
movie
love
too.
that movie. And that's uh, politics adjacent, I guess. It's about
Yeah,
Nixon and the reporter. I can't remember his first name. Something Frost
David
in the
Frost.
80s doing this interview, and it's interesting because it's really not about. So I mean, it's a little bit about Watergate, but it's really more about Nixon, the person, not so much the
Yeah.
scandal. It's about the aftermath and what that did to him and whatnot. And um, I think Nixon is an interesting president. I
I
don't
think
think
so
people,
too.
like, I was watching this podcast. We're totally going off the rails here, but that's okay. I was watching this podcast with Louis C.K. and
Oh,
Shane
okay.
Gillis, and
Okay.
they did like a 4-part podcast series where they went through every president. They starting with George Washington, they just kind of talked about each president one by one. And Louis C.K. said he likes to look at the presidents as like characters.
Yeah,
Um,
I get that.
and I think that's a good way to look at them. He's like, I just look at them as like characters. Like policies aside, what they did. Obviously you have bad presidents who did horrible things like Andrew Jackson, whatever.
I mean, they're
Um,
they're more interesting to look at that way once they're not president.
well, that's the thing. There is definitely some disconnect for us,
Yeah.
um, for sure, right? Where it's just fascinating to me to learn about these guys.
Oh no,
I
I
have
feel
this
the same way.
goal. I have this goal where I want to own a book on every president eventually.
Okay. So that's
Yeah.
what would be that'd be 47 books now. Or no, I guess it'd be less. Yeah, so
Um,
maybe I don't know how many
yeah, I guess
presidents.
I get. Well, actually, I think Trump. He's not the first um, to be reelected, not,
Like after, yeah.
not have it 2 consecutive terms, to serve
Yeah.
2 terms, but not consecutively. I think there was another guy too, and I can't remember who it was. Um, so I don't know. I guess I'm sure maybe I could find a book eventually in 10, 20 years or whatever, really, probably, on his second term, Trump's second term, so I can make sure I have 47 up to that point.
I
Uh,
really like Sam Rockwell in that movie quite a lot.
yeah, he's good in that. I like him
Yeah,
in
Sam
that.
Rockwell is great.
Yeah, I like Sam Rockwell a lot. I think he's a really good actor. Um,
Very realistic.
yeah, he's super good. And okay, so you watched Front Runner. Anything else? Any shows?
No shows. I saw the Darjeeling Limited, or I'm still getting
What is
through
it?
it. The Wes Anderson movie, the Darjeeling Limited.
Okay. Is that like a
Um,
newer one?
no, it was like 2009, I think. Um,
Okay.
Interesting movie though, really interesting. But what
Is
about
that with
you?
like Owen Wilson and Luke Wilson and
Well, it's Owen Wilson and like Adrian Brody and Jason Schwartzman.
oh, okay, got it. Okay, yeah, because I have an image of them on like a train. Are they
Yeah,
on a
that's the
train?
movie.
Okay, all right. I haven't
Yeah,
seen it. I know what it is.
it's pretty
Cool.
good.
So you're halfway through that.
Yeah. What about you?
Nice.
Have you seen anything?
I watched Invincible 3, season
Oh
3, the
yeah,
first
I
three
saw the first
episodes. I
two.
have not seen the fourth, which is out today. I'll probably watch that tonight after this. All to a great start so far. I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Um, Doom 1 and 2, we're going to talk about. And what else? I don't think I've really watched anything else. Nothing noteworthy, I guess.
I felt like Invincible was just a little slow in some ways, but I really
Okay.
like what they're doing with Cecil.
Yeah,
I think
where
he's my favorite character, so anything
I
that's
like
about
Cecil a
him.
lot too. And honestly, well, it's funny because I am doing a show tomorrow on it, my all-in-one nerd show with Illuminati. We're doing that. That's the
Okay.
topic of tomorrow's episode. So I'm going to save a lot of my opinions on it. But I do like Cecil. I do like where it's going for sure.
hmm
Uh,
I mean, you've read the comics, so but I know it's
yeah.
different. Isn't the story?
Not too different. Not too
Oh, okay.
different. To be honest, though, I don't remember. I remember bits and pieces about the comics. I'm really bad at remembering like storylines for anything.
hmm
Like it's just out the window, you know. Um, we had Nick Bruno and Caleb. They both love Dune. They both have not seen
It's
it.
all just two words. Love Dune.
They both have not seen Dune.
Oh, really? Those are
Thanks for
just
showing
follow.
up, guys, and supporting though. I have to. I'll like some those guys video, and it's like pulling teeth just to get them to like it. That it's like dude, it takes 2 seconds. Just like the freaking video. It helps out the channel, but they won't. They won't. They're stubborn about it. Probably because I bug them too much. They're like, no, I don't want to do this.
They
But
just
anyhow,
like dislike the video.
yeah, probably they're haters. Back to Invincible. Yeah, I really like it. I think it's great. I do agree with you. I think the first episode was a little slow, but
hmm
the second and third really picked up for me. So I'm excited to see the fourth episode, which I think is going to be about Alan the alien.
Okay.
So that would be cool.
I
Um,
am. I'm very
yeah.
happy to see Titan come back.
Oh yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
really fucked with that storyline when
With him, that's the guy who becomes like the kingpin, right?
yeah, I thought that was a really good storyline. But I have a
Yeah.
friend who well, you know him, Briggs. Briggs and I watched the show, and
Hmm.
he saw them before me, and he was like, you know, bro, just wait till you get to episode 3. It's crazy. And then it was like kind of this because he built my expectations up. The reveal at episode 3 was like, all right. I mean, I wouldn't say it's crazy, but it was still good. It was still really
Yeah.
good. I felt like some
Yeah.
of the editing was a little bit weird. There were just like moments when it just felt like that went on a little long or that line wasn't delivered in such a way that felt better, but that's just me nitpicking and being an asshole. So,
I will say I'm not. I think the animation's good in season 3, but it's not like amazing. Like it's not bad, but it's
mhm,
not like amazing. Like it's decent.
yeah, definitely
Um,
like
it's
I
not out of this
see
world.
I see how the 3-year break was used very well for season 2. You know, they
Yeah.
obviously like really worked on it, and I feel like they might be a little
Right.
rushed. But I know it's already been renewed
You
for
might be
like
right.
4 and 5.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I recommend that show. I
Oh,
really enjoy
absolutely.
it.
Best show, one of the
Yeah.
best shows on television. And the White Lotus comes back soon.
I haven't seen
So
the second season.
I'm
It's
excited.
funny. Maybe we can do an episode about the White Lotus too, actually,
Sure. Yeah.
because I need to watch the second season still, and I heard it
Not
got
as
mixed
good.
reviews. Yeah, I really love the first one a lot, and actually Nick and Kaylin, I probably recommended that show because I know they'll like it. It's a
Yeah,
show they'll
probably.
definitely like, and I definitely recommended it to them. So Nick and Kaylin, watch that tonight. Super good. But anyhow, I started to rewatch the first one, and it was not hitting the same. And I think it's because it is a bit of a slower show in some ways, Like
Yeah.
it really is just about a group of people at a vacation resort, and there's not too much going on. Nick, it's on HBO Max. Um, so I don't know. It may just not. It may just be a show where it's not too rewatchable.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever rewatched it. It's
Yeah,
not.
because I tried a couple times to rewatch the first season, and
Mhm.
what's good is it's kind of like an anthology. You don't need to watch. You can watch them out
Yeah.
of order, and it
Yeah.
seems like there's a few characters that are reoccurring. Um, so I think I'm just going to start the second season just to watch that before the third, even though I'd probably just go into the third blind. And I think the
Yeah, I mean,
third.
there something does happen in the second
Okay.
season that would kind of impact something in the third.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll check it out then. Yeah, I'll watch
Yeah.
that, and maybe once the whole show's out, we can do an entire review.
Sure. Yeah.
But um, let's. Nick is my number one fan. I'm calling BS on that. You are definitely not my number one fan, dude. You're not. Send me a headshot? No, I'm not doing that. Maybe I will. $100 though. Millie is watching. Do you know Millie, their dog? You
No,
probably.
no, I
Oh,
don't think I've met Millie.
she is the cutest freaking dog ever. She is such a
Really?
good dog too. Yeah, shout out to Millie. I love Millie. She's always been so well behaved. I don't know if it's like the breed that is just like she
What
doesn't
breed is
really.
it?
Uh,
Or what breed is she?
I can't remember. I'm really bad with dog breeds. Nick or Kaylin, let us
It'll
know.
probably show up in like 3, 2, 1.
Yeah. But she's always been such a well behaved dog. She's so chill. She's so cute. She's a smaller dog too. I really don't like smaller dogs, but she won me over. I'll tell you what, she really did. Um, Cavalier King Charles. Whoa, royal. She is a Bruno. I think if she was a Bruno, she'd be like barking all the time. I don't know. Anyhow, it would. I don't want to call my friend Rain out. She's probably not watching, so it doesn't matter. But you remember Rain?
I do actually, only because of the name. But yeah.
Yeah, she got a dog. She has like a bunch of animals, and I don't think it's a smart decision because she's our age, like
Mhm.
like I
That's a
have a
lot.
cat, you have a dog, but like she has like two lizards, a bird now, and a bigger dog.
So it's more
And
like
I
a
went up,
zoo.
yeah, I'm like, dude, you're just making moving around a pain for yourself, like
Yeah.
a dog, like one dog, a cat, like I think that's manageable to move around, but
I have
a
2
bunch, like,
cats and 1 dog.
I thought you didn't like animals.
I don't like I like our cats. They're not very like interactive. So they're a little
Aren't
bit
you
like
allergic to cats though?
little bit, little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I just remember. This is funny. I shouldn't laugh at it. I don't think I've told this story on the show, but I remember we talked about pets at one point, like our first episode. But I want to tell this story. You were over at my house, uh, back, in Oswego,
Yeah.
and you were sitting in my recliner, and my cat jumped up on the arm
Oh, I remember that. I remember
rest,
that.
and you like shot up. You were like,
Yeah.
"Oh God!"
No,
And,
it scared the shit out of me.
and
Because it
I
just
don't
came
mean to
out of nowhere.
laugh,
No,
but
no,
it
you're
was a
good.
little. It was a little funny.
No,
Um,
in hindsight, I mean, right after it was like, yeah, it was probably an overreaction. And once you know what it is,
Yeah.
but
Well, I
yeah.
can understand like her jumping up and you being startled because you weren't expecting a cat.
Well, I do
But
get anxious about like just cats scratching and biting.
yeah, No, that's fair. I get
But
that.
now that
I
I have
get
a
that.
dog, I'm much more comfortable with that kind of thing.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't mean to laugh at your
You're good. You're
uh,
good.
your moment there, but
You're
it
good.
did make me chuckle.
Just
I
gonna
remember in the
put a
moment
bad
too. I was
review on
just
one of your
laughing.
videos.
What's that?
Just gonna badly dislike one of your videos just for saying that.
That's fair. That's equal punishment, I would say. But anyhow, my friend Rain's dog is a cute dog, but very misbehaved. She's still a puppy, but I
Really.
mean, I think she's like 2 now, so it's like damage may be done, I
Yeah.
think the training needed to be done by this point. She was like
Yeah,
jumping
there
all
was a
over me and
window.
like she's a cute dog too. She's got a funny name. I really hate the name. It's like Sequoia or something. It's like what the fuck is that type? I hate my biggest pet peeve. What's your dog's name?
Archie.
Okay, all right, that's good. My biggest pet peeve is these animal names now that are so fucking weird. Just
Yeah.
name your dog like Archie's a cool name. All right, that's a name. Sequoia, what
Yeah,
the
I feel the
fuck
same
is
way.
Sequoia? I barely
I
can
feel the
say
same way.
Sequoia. I,
Yeah.
my biggest pet peeve ever.
Some people
I,
name their kids some crazy shit.
I know it's so stupid, so stupid. Just name your kid like don't make up a fucking name for your kid.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, don't do that. It's
Yeah.
it's silly.
Oh, it's dumb.
Anyhow,
But
but this dog is very misbehaved, and I feel bad because it's a cute dog.
mhm.
But I was like, dude, you got to do something about this dog. Like,
Yeah.
it's I. My other biggest pet peeve is that too, when like a misbehaved dog.
Mhm.
So Nick and Kaylin did a good job raising their dog and training their dog. Although I will say, I think the dog was always like that, just very chill, very mellow.
Mhm.
Even as a puppy, I kind of remember. So maybe it's just they got lucky with the dog. Northwest, yeah, that's a good example of just a stupid
Yeah.
fucking name. Anyhow, let's talk movies, shall we?
Let's do it.
All right, let's talk Dune. Dune one. I'm gonna put up a banner for spoilers as well.
I
If
mean,
you
this
haven't
one
seen the
came out.
movie, what's that?
This one came out a while ago.
Yeah,
So,
that's
yeah.
true. But we will try to avoid heavy spoilers. But we're not gonna like we're just gonna go where the conversation leads. I'm the dog's godfather. That's so sweet. Oh my god, thank you so
That's
much.
nice.
Can your audience pick movies for you to talk about? Yeah, they could. If you want to suggest a movie, Kaylin, let me know. We can watch it. Cool banner. Thank you. It's not something I made. It's just something with this software I use to stream, and I just type in what I wanted to say, and boom, there it goes. So Dune Part One.
Yeah.
Well, let's initial thoughts. Even though we've watched it years ago now, you probably watched it when it came out. I watched it in theaters. What were your initial thoughts, if you can remember back then, of this film?
Uh, and obviously it's a very really beautiful movie,
Yeah,
but both are.
yeah,
It's Denis Villeneuve. It's gonna be a beautiful movie.
for
Um,
sure.
I thought it was good. I thought it was really good. It had flaws. It was slow. Um, Jason Momoa, every time I rewatch it, I just feel like he just doesn't get it, like what's required for the film. I just feel
Interesting.
like he's the one part that's just like this isn't a, you know, DC movie. Like you got to stop being. Maybe it's the character, but you got to be like he's a little bit campy, for my opinion.
I
Um,
I thought Josh Brolin's character was a little campy for me. I was very much annoyed by his character in the second movie. Not so much. I thought his character was better in the second movie, but the
mhm.
first one, and I think more so than Jason Momoa's character, even though I didn't really like his character either. Josh Brolin's character really annoyed me in the first one.
Hmm.
I was like, this is not it. I don't like the performance. Well, maybe it's not even the performance because Josh Brolin is a good actor. I think it's the
Yeah,
writing. Just some of his lines come off very like pretentious, and I'm like, shut up, dude.
yeah. I kind of get what you're saying. I don't think it bothered me with him as much because well, partly because I really do like Josh Brolin, but also because I just kind of think like I don't know, it didn't really bother me. I do know I can think of moments though where I kind of feel the same way. Like that
Okay.
didn't quite feel right.
Yeah.
So I
But
do
I
get what you're
think,
saying.
yeah, other than that, the acting was pretty good.
Yeah.
And I will say, I'm not really, I might be now, before watching this film, and then really even after, but rewatching it and then watching the second one, I will say I'm much more of a Timothée Chalamet fan than I was
Oh
before.
yeah, I know. Yeah.
I
Once you see part two, it's kind of like, you know, he's talented. He can do
he,
it.
he's talented, and we're gonna next week we're gonna watch Complete Unknown, or I am. I think you already
Great
watched it.
movie.
Yeah, so that's what we're reviewing for next week. So I'm excited to see his performance in that. Um, but yeah, I think all across the board, besides I think Josh Brolin, Jason Momoa, I didn't really notice his character sticking out too much to me. And I think because his character is not in the film too much either. Like he's
Hmm.
there at the beginning, and then he's really not there. Well, I guess he is there in the middle for a second, but then he's gone, and then he shows up in the third act again.
Yeah.
So his character doesn't play a huge role, and I like, and this kind of spoilers, I do like his like sacrifice at the end in that fight scene. I thought
Hmm.
that was pretty badass. So I think that's kind of where the character won me over. Josh
No,
Brolin's character, not so much.
I mean, I really like Duncan as a character.
Mhm.
I just think Jason Momoa sometimes just doesn't know how to deliver these lines without sounding kind of cheesy, or a little corny. And that's kind
That's
of my
fair.
problem. But the character I do feel like is three-dimensional to a certain extent. That's another flaw in the first movie though, is that like, it introduces a lot of characters, but not all of them are like they all kind of like Josh Brolin is better in the second part. He has
Yeah,
kind of a more better part to play.
yeah,
And so like he's an example of a character who's kind of like this character didn't have to exist, especially with like Jason Momoa.
yeah.
I
They
mean, I
kind of
get
play the
it, but
same. It's very much
yeah,
the
right?
same role. Yeah,
Exactly, like position at
yeah,
least in the Empire or whatever that is.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
But Timothy Chalamet is really good.
yeah. I think the acting besides Josh Brolin and Jason Momoa are pretty good.
I do
Um,
think Zendaya is a little bit overrated. Like I think she's good. I just
yeah.
don't really think
Well,
that.
I think she's a. Well, I don't know. I haven't seen her too much. So besides like the Spider-Man films as well.
Yeah,
Um, I don't.
but she's
I
a good
don't
actress.
love
She's a
her.
good actress.
I don't love her as an actress. Like she definitely is one of those movie actresses where, she's like a household name now.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
I can understand why. But for me, like if her name's on a project, it's not going to necessarily sway me in one direction to watch it or not to watch
yeah,
it.
I feel the same way.
Um, but I think she's a good actress and she does a good job. I mean, in the first one, she's barely in it,
Yeah,
towards the end. And that's really it. Second one, I think she does a pretty good job. And, we can get into that here in a second. Um,
I think the mom is really interesting too.
I like her actress a lot. I wish I could
Yeah.
remember her name. I watched some of Silo recently. She
Oh
was
yeah,
good in
she's
that.
great in
And
that.
I think she was in Doctor Sleep. You ever
Hmm.
see that? Yeah,
I haven't
she
seen
she was
it, but I knew of it.
she was really good in that. She played a creepy villain.
And then Mission Impossible. I mean,
I haven't Mission Impossible. So you said
oh
I haven't
yeah,
seen.
yeah.
I've never seen a Mission Impossible film.
You're missing out, man. You're
We
missing
can.
out.
There's
The
a new one
best
coming
action
out.
franchise.
I think there's a new one coming out this summer. So maybe we can
Yeah,
do a episode talking about the entire franchise. I'll watch them all and we can
you
talk
should.
about them.
They're honestly
And
all pretty good.
all right, all right. Yeah, we'll have to figure that out. Um, but it's interesting because you kind of brought up a good point. I think where in the first one, it feels like with some of the characters, there's not too much emotional depth.
Hmm.
And I think that might be because in the first one, there's so much they have to do,
Yeah.
from a writing standpoint and then also, a directorial standpoint. They have to check off so many boxes about setting up this world, the characters, the dynamics, everything like that. So I think that's probably why maybe in the first one, because thinking back to I don't think there's too much emotional depth to it. Like I didn't particularly care about Timothy Chalamet's character in the first one, or the mom, or what happened to oh my gosh, what's the house's name?
Atreides.
Atreides. Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't care much about the House of Atreides and what happened with that. Um, and the second one, I did care a little bit more about, like Zendaya's character, Timothy Chalamet's character, and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but I think the first one succeeds so well at setting up the story and the world. Um, it's funny because I've never read the book. Have you read the book?
Not yet.
Yeah. From my understanding, the book is like a Bible. Like it's not an easy
Yeah.
read. I feel like the movie does a great job at like simplifying this plot. Like it's not a very hard plot to follow, right? It's when
Mm-hmm.
you kind of boil it down, it's a pretty simple plot, you know,
Yeah.
and it's all about just houses fighting and whatnot, and um, so it's really not a super complicated plot, and I think the movie succeeds in that it does not overcomplicate it. There was never really a point where I was like, oh, why is this character doing this? What's going on? I was never confused. And like I said, I never read the book, but from people I know who have, and people who, well, just kind of the buzz around the book and the book series itself, uh, from my understanding, it very much is a little convoluted. And I like that here, this is not a convoluted story whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
And you really can, I think it makes it so you can just focus on the visuals and the sound. And I mean, the visuals are some of the best visuals in films ever.
Yeah.
Truly, like insane, especially in the second one when they do some cool stuff with the sandworms. I thought that was
Oh
just
my
spectacular.
God.
I'm
Yeah.
like, this is insane, you know. And I did see the first one in theaters in Oswego with rain, actually. Um,
Or the second one.
no, the first one I saw in
The
theaters.
first one came out in theater? Oh yeah, I guess it did. It also came on
Yeah, yeah.
streaming, is what I saw.
It came out maybe a year or so after COVID. It came out, I think, in the fall of 2021. It would have been.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure. Um, and I remember really enjoying it, having a good time in theaters. I think these films are definitely ones you want to watch in the movie theater. Um,
Mm-hmm. Oh
Even though I
yeah.
didn't watch the second one in the theaters, I don't feel like necessarily, the experience was any less. But I do kind of wish I could go back and watch it in the theaters because I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. Um,
Yeah.
but so, what other things were you not crazy about in the first one, if there was any, if you can remember?
Not much. Really just I mean, I guess at the end of the day it feels a little empty. Like
Yeah,
it ends on like this kind of like, all right, I guess we just saw the main
yeah,
character lose the entire movie. And
yeah,
so it's a little bit like he goes on his own journey. I do find Paul very kind of a little whiny, or not very relatable in some ways, but that's part of it, and he totally.
yeah,
And the second one really is an improvement in every way. And I would call the first one a great film. It is. It's beautifully shot. There's really not many flaws in it, other than the overarching kind of emptiness. But yeah, I mean, when it comes to the first one, I was very pleased. I like Stellan Skarsgård and Javier Bardem both a lot in those
Oh my
movies.
gosh, yeah.
Yeah,
I think the Baron, every time his character was on screen, and I just loved watching the Baron. I
yeah,
just He was such a menacing force. It's so like gross to look at.
yeah.
I loved it. I don't know. I'm a sick person, I guess.
No, it's a great
I really,
performance.
yeah, in the second one as well. Like every time
Yeah.
he was on screen, I was like, I'm all in. I was glued to the screen. So I think that's contributed to the performance for sure, but also to just character design. I think it's like a 10 out of 10 in
Yeah.
that respect. Um, yeah, it his character was super menacing, very much so. And I think the structure of the film was a little weird, to be honest,
Mhm.
because like the third act felt so long. Like, and maybe I'm looking at the structure wrong, but the way I thought of it was the third act started when um, the house of Atreides was like blown to bits. You know, like that to
Yeah.
me is like that's the start of the third act. But there's an hour left of movie after that. You know,
Mhm.
and I think it does get a little slow towards the end, where it drags on a little bit for me at least. I think in the beginning it was really good. Once they got to um, what's the planet's name? Ericos? No,
Arrakis.
Arrakis. I thought it was great in learning about the Fremen. Is that the name of the
Fremen.
people?
Yeah.
Fremen. I thought that was cool, and I just love the aesthetics. It's such a beautiful film to look at.
Yeah.
It's so grand. It feels so grand. Like the visuals do. The story itself feels grand too. You
Yeah.
know, where like there's this weird emperor that we don't see in the first one, played by Christopher Walken, in the second one, which I thought was amazing casting. Um, and it's kind of clear in the first one where things are heading. Like it seems like okay, there's going to be a lot of there's going to be a war, right, between the universe. Like this emperor is like the emperor of the universe, of the known
Mhm.
universe. So it just feels so grand and big. And Arrakis, it seems to be this just like the most important planet in the universe. Because they have
Yeah.
spice.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. Like the motivations behind all the characters, all the houses, everything like that. And I think in the second one, it also feels so grand, and we've kind of seen some things unfold.
Mhm.
And I'm excited, and we'll talk about this too, to see where the third one goes. Very
Yeah. No,
excited
I am
to see.
too.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I
Yeah.
will see that one in theaters because, like I said, it just feels like such an epic and grand story,
Mhm.
and the visuals just do an amazing job at portraying that. Essentially,
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved it. And to be honest, I don't really have much of a desire to like read the Dune books after this. I don't think I will.
Mhm.
Um, I think probably these movies is kind of where I'm going to stop as far as like the Dune lore. I know there's a video game coming out too. Um,
Yeah, but it's kind of a survival game, so I lost
yeah, I don't think
interest.
I'll check it out. I don't.
It would have been so cool if it was like a storyline kind of game.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, who knows? Maybe it will be better than I think it will be. But to be honest, like I said, I don't think I'll necessarily go. It won't be a day one purchase for me for sure.
Mhm.
So, what are some things about the first one that you absolutely love that maybe we haven't discussed, if there was anything?
Cinematography is kind of a big thing
Yeah,
for me.
to me,
The
that's
guy,
the highlight of the film.
yeah, I mean, the guy who shot the Dune movies is the same guy who shot like the Batman. So it's kind of
Yeah,
it tracks. It tracks with his record.
for
Um,
sure.
I thought people like, I really liked Oscar Isaac too. I thought
He
he
was
was
good in
quite
it.
good for a small role. Um, yeah, I guess I mean, I really like that director. I just like his style. I like his lack of dialogue. There's a lot
Yeah,
of like it's slow, but it's easy to follow, because I can find myself if there's too much dialogue, I go off into
it's
my
too
other
much. It will
thoughts.
overload the brain. Yeah,
Yeah, so it's just like, film is a visual thing. So, and he said it himself, if he could do a film without words, he would. Like you need words for a story, obviously, and the writing's really important, but a big part of film is visually showing things.
Visual
So
storytelling. Yeah.
he totally gets that, which I really appreciate. Not that I don't mind really good dialogue, but like Aaron Sorkin can be a little bit like, all right, relax. But yeah, I mean, what else? The sandworm stuff I thought was cool.
Yeah.
I really also like Dave Bautista in those movies. I think he's out of control, and like I'm all for it. He fully, that director kind of lets him show his skills. Because he was in Blade Runner too, and
Yeah. Same director, same cinematographer.
yeah,
Which
but
uh
different cinematographer, but same
was
director.
it? Wow.
Yeah,
Because
it's
it
Roger.
feels very much similarly shot.
Yeah, no, I mean they're both kind of like the best cinematographers working today. Um,
For sure.
but yeah, no, but it is kind of a movie that like it was a while after coming out that part two got confirmed. So I was kind of like partly like, well, it's a shame because the first one didn't really I don't think about it as much as I expected to. Part two, on the other hand, is a totally different story. But yeah, so that's kind of. But I like the movie a lot. I think it's really good.
Yeah. What would you give it on a scale of 1 to 10? 10
Seven
being
point
the
five.
I
Seven
would
point
probably
five.
go a little higher. I'd probably say like an 8, 8.5. Like
Okay. Well,
I really enjoyed it. Like I could see myself rewatching this film every so often. This is a film where if it was playing in the theaters, like in IMAX, I would definitely
mhm.
go out of my way to go rewatch it in like IMAX. Same with the
Okay.
second one too. I think the second one is a little more slow for me though.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
That's controversial.
I don't love the third act is fantastic. Like I was glued to
Hmm.
the screen. But and we're kind of diving into part two here, but that's okay.
Should we just
With
switch to part two?
well, I do want to add one more thing.
Oh, okay. Okay. Gotcha.
Some story things. I wasn't like I didn't understand why the emperor wanted to get rid of House Atreides. That wasn't made clear to me, and it is a little bit in the second one towards the end of why. Um, but I do wish maybe we were given a little bit more reason. Um,
Can I respond to that?
yeah, yeah,
Um, I do think I get what you're saying because
mhm.
it's so stupid what
Yeah,
he does. It's totally unnecessary. It's just dumb. But
right.
it is kind of explained as they say, like he's a jealous man, and House Atreides was getting a lot of power, and he was worried about like this overthrowing. Um, but I do get it's I don't really understand, and that's a book's if that's how it is in the book, then I would blame the author on
Mhm.
like I don't he's obviously a great author, but I do think it's a little like I would like a villain like the Emperor with a little more of an appropriate reason for doing it, you
Yeah,
know?
that makes sense. It is interesting too to see some of the influences that Star Wars took from Dune, the
Yeah.
book. Some of that translates here, where we see um, the commanding voice, whatever that thing's called, where you can like tell someone to do something essentially.
Hmm.
We kind of see that with the Force, with Obi-Wan in the original Star Wars. We have this Emperor far off that is whatever doing his thing, and we're not kind of the secret plotting guy, whatever. Um, so it is interesting. I did notice a few things. I'm like, oh yeah, that seems like it's from Star Wars, and
Hmm.
obviously um, Star Wars took from the book, not
Yeah.
this film, obviously. Um, so I don't know. I thought it was interesting to see some parallels there, because I have heard that George Lucas was somewhat inspired by Dune and
Oh yeah,
took
totally.
things from Dune
Most
for sure.
sci-fi is, I think. I think a lot of
Um,
sci-fi is inspired by Dune
yeah,
in
you're
some
probably
way.
right. You're probably right.
That
Yeah,
or like Philip K. Dick.
That or what?
That or Philip K. Dick.
What is that?
Philip K. Dick? Oh, he's like an author. He was like in, I believe, the 60s. Big science fiction writer. Like Minority.
Oh,
That's Philip K. Dick.
Minority Report.
Yeah, the Tom Cruise movie.
Yeah, haven't seen it. I know of it. Um,
Right.
Interesting. Okay, I'll have to maybe do some more research on that author. Anyhow, yeah, I really enjoyed this first one. I do think overall, I would probably rewatch the first one before I rewatch the second.
Okay.
I would. I just think it's tough because there's so many good moments in the second one that I love, but the bad that I don't like kind of outweighs the good of the second one for me. Where I'm just like,
Now I'm
ah,
really curious. I'm really
yeah.
curious.
So let's hop over to Dune Part Two.
All right.
Uh, Initial thoughts of this film, if you can remember going back to it, what were they?
Um, big person I remember is Austin Butler, to be honest.
Hmm,
I was pretty blown away by that performance, and I was not a fan of his before, but certainly was after.
I thought it
Thought
was mid.
he really scared the shit out of me when I saw it in the theater. Like I was really like, this motherfucker is out of control. Like, but aside from that, I do think it's an improvement in every way. The scene is apparently shot in infrared, which is kind of
Hmm.
in by as a concept that kind of means that everything was like reversed, I think. Like,
Wait,
or
which
maybe
scene?
it's that the lights and the darks were like super enhanced.
Which scene was
Um,
it?
the scene when Austin Butler is fighting the people in the arena.
Okay.
Um, yeah, what else? Florence Pugh I thought was great. My only problem with it was Christopher Walken was, I felt, very underused, but
Yeah,
maybe
he's
that's the
really not
point.
in the movie that much.
Yeah, and maybe
Same
that's the
with
point.
Florence Pugh.
He's like the king, so it would make sense that he wouldn't be doing that much. Um, then they cast this French actress named Leah Seydoux, who was the woman who seduces Austin Butler's character. I thought
Yeah,
she was great.
she was good.
Um, I mean, I kind of felt like the pacing was a lot better, and it felt like a really epic conclusion in perfect ways. You know, like you had like a 3 year period between the first and the second, and to get to that, and like, I mean, that is kind of Dune Part
Well,
Two is
yeah,
probably the back of our generation. Like, it's going to be remembered as one of the best sequels of all time.
maybe. I don't think it was a 3 year because the mom, she's still pregnant
No, I
by
mean
the
three
end.
years between the movie
Oh, real
releases.
life years. I see.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, real life years. Yeah,
I was gonna say, yeah.
yeah.
Um,
And I thought Javier
yeah.
Bardem was given a lot more to do.
What's that?
I thought Javier Bardem was given like a lot more to do in the second. And it just expanded on like everyone's character, you know. Everyone felt
Yeah.
more fleshed out. And at the end of it you have Timothy Chalamet, who is like really quite brilliantly taking this character and showing like it is not a hero's journey. This is a cautionary tale of like you should not give someone who you view as this divine being meant to help you. You should not give that person all this power because power
Right.
corrupts, you know.
And I think we're gonna see that flesh out a lot more in the third film, if I had to guess. I think
The third one is like a 10-year period between the like 10-year period after.
interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it's not like I
See,
don't think it's what was that?
well, I think we're definitely gonna see how power corrupts in the
Oh
third
yeah,
one.
no, most definitely.
Yeah.
But I think it's gonna be kind of like these are like a two-parter kind of thing, and then there's this third one that's gonna happen.
Right. Because you're right. Yeah. Because these films definitely do. I don't want to say they almost feel like one film split because I think that'd be doing each film a disjustice, to be honest.
Hmm.
because I do think these films stand on their own. But they do very much feel more episodic, if you will.
Okay.
And it will be interesting if you're saying that there will be a bit of a time jump in the third film. It will be interesting to see where that goes.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, from what I understand from the books, Paul Atreides turns into this corrupt leader who's
Yeah.
just, he lets everything kind of go to his head and kind of becomes the person he hates. And it's, yeah, I mean, I'm excited for the third one. I think it's going to be called Dune Messiah, I believe.
Yeah, that's why I don't think it's going to be called Part 3.
Yeah, which I guess makes sense if it's a time jump, you
Yeah.
know. Yeah, I think the film starts out pretty good, but then in the second act, I was just like, man, I don't care too much about the Freeman or however you say the name with Paul and him like learning their ways and whatnot. I was like, and I think that just comes down to a personal thing. I don't even think that's something wrong with the film, right? That's just not why. I really would have loved a bit more of um, the Baron's character in his house. I can't remember their name. The house starts with
Um,
an S, I
yeah, it's
think.
the Harkonnen, I think.
Oh, H. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
Harkonnen. Yeah. I really would have liked to see a bit more of the House of Harkonnen.
Hmm.
And then also more from the Emperor. Like I felt like we spent too much time with Paul and Zendaya's character, and that's kind of where the film for me personally drags. I think that's kind of my biggest issue with it. But towards the third act, when everything kind of comes together, it was amazing. Like that last half hour, 45 minutes of that battle,
Yeah.
that was great. Um, yeah, I really enjoyed it. And here, we the world's already set up, right? When like I was saying with the first one, they had to make sure they set up the world, the dynamics of the houses, whatever. They had a lot more to do. Here, they really can be a little bit more character focused, where we already know about the houses, we know the dynamics, the politics, everything like that. So we can really kind of hone in on Paul Zedaya's characters and relationship, and some other characters and whatnot. So I think there is a little bit more emotional depth there. Like I did kind of find myself caring a little bit more about Paul and Zendaya's character, especially than I did in the first one. Um, but I do. With that being said, I do think it's still maybe a little shallow for me. You know,
Okay.
like
I kind of
there.
feel. What was that?
No, go ahead.
Well, I kind of feel opposite on that. I feel like it's a lot more deep and thought provoking. It's really like the first one is kind of just this house gets defeated by other house colonialism kind of story, and that's interesting. But
Mhm.
Dune Part 2 really handles religion and worshiping without question and politics. It handles the political aspect really well. It's very three-dimensional. Like, the Fremen are not this united group either. They have different opinions based on what part of the
Yeah, I
planet they're
like that
from.
aspect. Yeah,
And then you have like Florence Pugh, who's the Emperor's daughter, who doesn't seem like a monster. The Emperor doesn't even seem like a monster, but he's doing monstrous things. And the daughter is like aware of her father's flaws, and I just think all that is a decision the director. I mean, the author probably wrote it, but the director is like including this, and it's making things more intriguing from whatever side you're on. So if you're watching a scene with the Fremen, there's still conflict. If you're watching a scene with the Emperor, there's still these different opinions. And then you have like Austin Butler's character, who is, you know, the kind of opposite, but also very similar to Paul. And I like those parallels. I thought that was
yeah,
really interesting.
yeah. Well, I feel like they're almost
And then
like,
his relationship with Dave Batista, I thought was really good, and his relationship with his uncle, the Baron.
yeah. I thought, I guess, kind of going back to, I feel like Paul and Austin Butler's character, something Baron, his name was, I think.
Oh, Fade
They
Rotha,
were,
I think.
what was it?
Fade Rotha.
Okay. Yeah, I think they called him something like the Baron or so it was something Baron.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's just his title. Um, I think they are kind of like two sides of the same coin almost
Hmm.
in some ways, and I think we get that from like the sisters or whatever they're called, that the I don't know what they are, who really seem to almost be a little bit uh, more of the puppet masters than the emperor, or
Oh yeah,
that
no, totally.
grandmother
Yeah,
was
I
in
like
the
her.
emperor's ear, controlling like what he does. So it's interesting, like, okay, maybe they're the real kind of villains of this story. And we see, I like how we see their influences on the Freymans in the planet of uh, what Icarus? No, what's the planet's name?
Arrakis.
Arrakis.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was close. I like I like how we see their influence in what that does,
Hmm.
and how they really created their own monster with Paul.
Oh my God,
And
yeah.
it seemed like that towards the end, the Reverend Mother with who like controls the Emperor, or is at least in his ear, was did not want Paul to succeed with
Yeah.
him
No, she
taking.
kind of regrets it.
Yeah, which is interesting. I find that interesting.
Yeah.
Um, so I think there are some
I also think,
great
can I say one
parts.
thing?
Yeah,
Can I just say one thing? I also think the movie expands, like you said, on the sisters and their purpose, and
mhm,
just how they've run the universe for years, and the scale that they take it to, like, you know, kind of genetically manipulating people, and like, you know,
yeah,
like really um orchestrating bloodlines to like by thousands of years. So it's kind
yeah,
of,
centuries. Yeah.
but what were you saying? I didn't mean to interrupt.
I can't remember. I don't think it was anything important, to
Oh,
be honest.
my bad.
What do you think of the twist with the Paul's mother and was finding out that the Baron is Paul's mother's father, which makes the Baron the grandfather of Paul? What do you think of that? I did not see that coming. I thought that was a neat little twist.
That didn't really hit me in any way. I remember being more impressed by how the mother changes throughout the movie and how she becomes very like, I mean, she's got that thing that she drinks, but she really changes and kind of starts manipulating Paul and manipulating everything. And I found that more interesting. When that part was revealed, I was kind of like, okay, I mean, I guess that's interesting. But it was also like, right, wasn't it revealed right when the Baron dies? Or was it revealed earlier?
Uh,
Might have
I
been
think it was.
earlier.
I think it was a little bit earlier. Yeah.
Okay. Well, then maybe I'm wrong on
Well,
that.
I think it was after Paul drinks the sandworm pea or whatever it is,
Hmm.
um, and wakes up after that, like his trip. I think that's when he
Okay.
realizes that, or finds out, or
Oh, that's
whatever.
right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
He says like we're
uh,
Harkonnens. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I don't know. I just found it to be interesting. I'm sure there's maybe some aspect of it that I'm missing as far as its like significance. Um, like I'm sure the sisters or whatever they're called definitely were the influence of that.
Hmm.
Um, and maybe the mother, is like a failed project or prospect or whatever, um, because it seems like she goes a little bit astray and becomes this like figure for the Freymans and whatnot. And yeah, I think I really enjoyed both films. I really did. I think they're both excellent. Um, what would you give it on a scale of 1 to 10?
Oh, I'd give Dune 2 like a 9.5. I
I'd
also
probably
saw it. Oh, sorry.
no, go ahead.
Well, I also saw it in theaters, which I do
Okay.
think with that movie, it definitely like, the sound in a theater is different. The like shot seeing the shots in IMAX was crazy. I mean, it was like this eventful type of thing, and maybe that's part of why it sticks with me so much. But the more I rewatch it, the more I think like, damn, this is really good. But what were you gonna say?
Um, I would probably give it an 8 out of 10. I think.
So you prefer part one more?
I think so. And maybe on a rewatch that might change. They're close. They're very close. Like they are very much on the same level of cinema, and that's something I absolutely love about these films. It feels like cinema, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
which I think is so lacking in today. Like this is very much worthy of the big screen, and
hmm
I just love that. It's just I love that feeling. It just feels
yeah,
so grand, you know. And so I
yeah.
think that's why I will absolutely see the third one in theaters. Absolutely, I will. Which I'm sure maybe has like an announcement, a release date announced. I'm not sure, but yeah, I'd probably give this one an 8. It's a little bit lower for me than the first one, but like I said, maybe on a rewatch that may change. I'm not sure, but
What did you
in
think of
yeah.
the sandworm scene when he rides the sandworm in part two?
I like that a lot. I thought that was pretty well done. Um, I will say, I guess I'm curious as to how the other people got on the sandworms too. Like it seems like
Okay, yeah, that is a
that was
question
like the
I
one
had
part I was
too.
like, how's that work?
Yeah,
It doesn't make
maybe
sense.
maybe they're able to stop it. I mean, they obviously get off at a
Well,
certain
that's the
point
thing too.
too.
How do they get off the things?
They might be able to stop it once they're on it.
I wish we saw that though. If that was the case.
Yeah, I guess. Or maybe he
But
just goes underground. No, that wouldn't make sense. Um,
I don't know. I
yeah.
did like them though. I thought that was awesome set pieces, and the one shot I really thought was cool was in the third act with after they like blow up the city with the nukes and everything
hmm
like that. And the dust, there's a big dust cloud, and then you just see three of them come out.
Yeah,
And I
that
was
was
like, oh,
cool.
that is
Yeah.
awesome. I wish I saw that in theaters. Um,
Yeah,
so
that
yeah,
that was part of
I
why it
thought it
was
was
so
cool.
crazy. Like seeing it was like that final act was like, this is like what it must have felt watching Lord of the Rings in theaters. It's like this kind of crazy moment. Another scene I really, really liked was when Zendaya and Timothy Chalamet's character are going up against that helicopter. They're like
Yeah, that was
they're
cool.
attacking that. I thought that was really the way he did that with like um the rocket launcher. I
Yeah.
find that really satisfying for some reason.
No, I agree. I thought that was pretty cool. I think there's some great action across the board. Just stunning visuals. I think the visuals they may be better for me in the second one than the
Oh
first.
yeah, oh yeah.
I
I mean,
think they're definitely on the same level for sure, but I
to
think the
me,
second
the
one stood out in that
the
respect.
the arena in black and white is, I think, the best scene of the entire film.
Yeah, I thought that was
I'm
cool.
completely blown away by that every time I see it, and it. And Austin Butler is like playing this snake and panther like character who's like a total animal, and
Yeah,
it's like it's a little like Patrick Bateman or someone I think Gary Oldman has played a couple characters that were psychotic. It was just like a real like you know before he goes into that arena, he's preparing with his blades. I'm not sure if you remember that scene, and he
yeah,
like
yeah,
he does some pretty egregious stuff
yeah,
just to make sure he's ready, and it was like that's terrifying to me at least.
yeah. Well, because I remember before I watched the film, you telling me about it,
hmm
and you saying like, "Oh my God, Austin Butler's character." Just what you're saying now is like he's freaky as hell. So going into, I was expecting a little bit more than
Okay.
what is saw. So I think maybe that played a role into it, where I was like, "Ooh, what's this character gonna do?" And seeing
Yeah.
what he does was definitely bad and like messed up. But I was expecting a little bit more. Um, so for me, it doesn't 100% succeed. His character and being like this menacing force. I still like the Baron a little bit more as a
Okay.
menacing force. Um, but yeah, I thought it was pretty good. overall. I would want to watch this movie again in theaters for sure.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I really
No, I
enjoyed
would.
it.
Yeah.
Have you seen the HBO show Dune Prophecy?
I tried it. It was
Oh,
kind
good.
of like, well, I've only seen maybe 30 minutes. It's a little bit like, I didn't need this. It's not the
Mm,
Penguin. If
all right.
if at least so far. It did get renewed though, so maybe it's pretty good.
Yeah, I was thinking about checking it out, and I still might. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't think it's bad. It was
Yeah.
just a little bit like, felt like it was trying to be the same quality as the movies, but it just couldn't really match it, and it just kind of felt a little bit like, I would have been good with just 3 movies. Would have been good, you know.
Um, yeah, I we'll see. We'll see. I do think, and this is something I thought about. I do think the director, if they were ever to do a Lord of the Rings remake trilogy,
Hmm.
he should 100% be the director of it. I would love to see that.
Hmm.
I think that would be
Okay.
spectacular,
That'd be
and
interesting.
he would be the only man for the job, in my opinion.
I don't
If
think
they
he
were to do
would,
it.
but I do. I can see why. I can see why. He can handle it. He can handle the scale
Oh,
and
for sure.
keep it grounded and personal at the same time.
Yeah, no, for sure. But all right, cool. We want to wrap it up. We've been going for about an hour now. And yeah, I mean, I think for those of you out there who have not seen this film, definitely watch it. Salmon says hi. I think that's his dog. What's up, Salmon? Am I saying that right? Or
Solomon, I think. Like,
Salmon?
oh no, I'm thinking of Salman Rushdie, which is a different
I think
name.
that's what it is.
Is
Salmon.
it okay?
I
Okay.
think
Well, I
you're
think
right. Yeah.
Salmon is Salmon. I think Solomon is the same thing.
Salmon.
Oh, it is salmon. Okay, so
No,
okay,
I think
okay.
he's making fun of me. I think he's
Oh,
making
okay,
fun of me.
okay.
You're right. Now that I remember him saying it, it's Solomon. What's up, Soul Oman? Yeah. We just got done talking about doing part 1 and 2. We both really enjoyed it. Um, Jack, you should.
Also,
He's already seen it. But
one last fun fact. Actually, Tim Blake Nelson. Do you know Tim Blake Nelson?
mm-mm.
Um, you ever seen The Incredible Hulk?
Yeah.
He's the guy who gets his head all morphed at the end. It's actually going to be the
Oh,
villain in the new Captain America movie.
yeah, yeah.
But that guy is in Dune too. He was just cut out, which is a shame because he's
Oh,
a really good actor.
yeah. I would have loved to see. I like him a lot in Watchmen. I thought he'd be great in
Yeah,
that.
he's great in Watchmen, but
Well, maybe
we're
he'll
never.
show up in the third one. We'll see.
Well, yeah, I mean, I know that any deleted scene is cut from existence in his movies, so we'll never get that, which is kind of sad. But
Yeah. Oh
you know,
well. Maybe his character will come back in the,
at the
the
same
third one.
time, though, I hate when movies do like extended cuts and different versions of them. I just think that's like you know, just make your movie, make one movie, and we'll be good. But then like Blade Runner has 6
I,
versions for some
I was
reason.
gonna say, I'm like, are you not a fan of Blade Runner?
I
Because
love Blade Runner.
yeah,
I think
there are so many different versions.
the final cut is better, and
Okay.
I don't mind it. Like if it's a great movie, I'll still watch it. But it does kind of bother me when it's like why? I just think if you have to ask which version, unless it's like a remake, it's a little bit like you know
I
I don't
do
know.
agree. I do agree. Um, Blade Runner 2049 was another of
That's a great
that was
film,
a great film too.
beautiful movie.
I rewatched that not too long ago, and just incredible, just
Yeah,
incredible.
he's amazing. He's a great
Yeah,
director.
I would love to see him do another Blade Runner. I think that'd be awesome. I don't
There's
think
a
we'll
TV show
happen.
coming.
Really?
Yeah, Amazon Prime
No kidding. Okay, interesting. Jack wants to know: have you seen the Friendship trailer?
with Tim Robinson and Paul Rudd.
Yeah,
I have not seen it yet.
I
Does it look
think
good?
I watched it. I think I watched it. I don't know if I watched the whole thing.
Because you like Tim Robinson, right?
I love Tim Robinson.
Yeah.
Love. So I will definitely. This is a film we will definitely go watch and
Okay.
talk about
I'll watch that.
because yeah, I'm very excited for that. I love Tim Robinson so much, and I think
I like
I
Paul
think
Rudd.
yeah, Paul Rudd's great too. Um, and it seems like Tim Robinson maybe has some wrote it or like produced it because in the trailer it definitely felt a little bit like Tim Robinson, you know,
Mhm.
if that makes sense. Just this type of humor came
Yeah.
off in the trailer. Um, so yeah,
Is he
I'm
the guy from
super excited.
Detroiters?
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah.
I never.
Jack wants to know if he can join the stream or show for that
Sure,
stream.
yeah. Why not?
Absolutely not, Jack.
Oh.
You can no, you can.
Okay.
Of course, dude. Yeah, absolutely. We can we'll have you on for that episode. When does that come out, Jack? I'd be curious to know. What other new movies are coming out this year? Mickey 17, we're definitely going to review and talk about.
Yeah, I really
That
want to
looks
see that.
really good. That's coming out in March. Um, yeah. Are you seeing the new Captain America this weekend?
No, I'm actually gonna go see The Brutalist this Tuesday.
Is that the
Um,
Adrian Brody one?
yeah. And
All
then the
right.
next week I'm probably gonna see Captain America 4. I heard it was like, so I'm not really rushing to the theater. But
Sure.
I do know that Wes Anderson's next movie is coming out in May, so that'll
Okay.
be something.
Yeah, well, we
If,
can do that. I have to see Captain America for my show on Tuesday. The All
okay.
in Wonder show. That's where me and Illuminati are talking about it. So
Okay,
I
well then maybe
will.
we should skip that one if you're already talking
Yeah, I
about
think
it.
we'll skip it. There's
Okay.
probably honestly, I think with all the superhero movies, we'll probably just skip them for this show.
I do want to
Um,
talk about Superman. That's the only
okay,
one I'll advocate
maybe
for.
we can double dip for that one. I'd be okay
Okay.
with that.
That
But
looks good.
let's see. Jack May. We
Okay.
got Bunkmaster B, who was on the show Tuesday night. I interviewed him. It was my longest stream yet. It was like almost 3 hours. Super
Jesus.
good conversation with Bunkmaster B. Go check out his channel if you have not already. And anyone in the audience listening, go check out his channel and subscribe. He says, I know nothing about Dune, but I hear there's a lot of sand there. You'd be wrong. There's zero sand on Dune, actually. There's
Yeah.
no sand. Yeah.
Samless
Um,
Dune.
Y'all should watch The Monkey. Looks one. Ooh, when's that come out? I know that's coming out soon. I'd be down to watch that.
I don't think I've
It's
heard
a
of that.
it's more of a horror film though. You're not huge into horror, right?
Let me watch the trailer. Let me watch the
Okay.
trailer.
It doesn't look too bad. It's like a
Okay.
Stephen King one. It doesn't look horrible.
I think I
Um,
saw it like on YouTube somewhere, like on a,
yeah.
I
Yeah,
didn't
watch
press
the
play,
trailer.
but
That'd be one I'd be down to talk about.
okay.
Oh, this weekend, right? Or next? Stephen King story. Yes. Yeah, I definitely I'm gonna watch that one for sure. But yeah, I gotta see Captain America 4, which I'm not looking forward to be honest.
I like
I
Anthony Mackie. I do like Anthony
see.
Mackie.
I don't really like Anthony Mackie. I don't like the Falcon that much. I don't. I don't know. But who knows? I mean, the reviews have not been great, but I'm kind of going
Yeah.
there in there with low expectations, so maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised. Have a good time. I don't know, but I do wish I could. I'd like if I was not watching it for the show, I would not watch it.
I mean,
Or wait
Harrison
till
Ford. You got Harrison Ford in there. That's worth
that's true. I'm
something, I
really
guess.
at this point. I'm just going to watch the going to watch it for like the popcorn and candy and soda that I can have.
I am
Uh,
curious. Like, I'm curious to see if it's as bad as people say. I think I'll have a good time on that end, and if it's better, then I'll be kind of surprised. I don't think I have always known it's not going to beat Chris Evans movies. Those are just that's like next to Guardians. That's kind of the best trilogy in the MCU, in
which
my
was it?
opinion. The Captain
The
America
Captain.
movies. I think that
Um,
and Guardians are kind of top notch.
yeah, I would agree. Bunk, if you're not excited to see it, why see it? Are Marvel execs forcing you? Blink twice if they are. You're being coerced.
You did just blink twice accidentally.
I'm blinking twice. Help me, Bob. No, I had to see it for the All-in-One Nerd Show that I do with Illuminati. We're doing one tomorrow, and then Captain America one will be next Tuesday. So he's very excited about it. So I'm gonna watch it. Maybe drag my sister or someone along with me, so I'm not alone. But we'll see. Jack subbed a bunk. Go Knicks. Are you a Knicks fan? I know you're from New York.
Oh,
Are you?
me? Oh,
Yeah,
no, I'm more of a Nets fan, to be honest, because I'm from Brooklyn.
you're from Brooklyn.
But
That's right.
yeah, but the Knicks are kind of like, not always been the best. So, I'm no Spike Lee, sitting there at the court
Courtside.
every weekend. I'm not that guy. But uh, yeah, Nets for me are a little
You're
bit
telling
more.
me you can afford that?
Well, no, but if I could, I wouldn't.
If
So
you could, you would. Okay.
yeah,
What are we watching for next week? We're definitely gonna watch A Complete Unknown.
okay,
I may have to go out to the theaters to watch that, which I'm okay with. I can go like during the day next week if it's not
it's
streaming.
good. It's
Which I
good.
think it is streaming. I just hope I can rent it. If I can't, I'm definitely just gonna go out to the theaters and watch it because it's cheaper.
Hmm.
Um,
So what other movies on the Oscar, or what other
so
movies are there?
give me 1 second. Let me just pull up the deck here. So for next week, we have The Brutalist and Complete Unknown, which you're going to see The Brutalist. So we could
Yeah,
try to
I'm
get,
gonna. But
yeah.
that's also like a tall order for you. I don't want to make you go see a 3.5 hour
Well,
movie.
I'm looking now. It looks like it's only streaming in Syracuse, which is an hour away from me. Or it's only
Okay.
being played. So we may just have to
We can
kind of talk.
just do that like when it's at home release and you can
Yeah.
watch it
I mean,
while
you could
it's
give
there.
your opinion on it real quick too.
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I do think it's a movie that we should talk about, but we can always just do it when it doesn't have to be before the Oscars.
No. And then we're doing, yeah, okay, Complete Unknown for sure. Let me see if that's streaming anywhere. And then I kind of like doing two movies a show. I think it's just,
Hmm.
I don't know, it's a little more fun.
What about Nosferatu? If you're interested. If you like The Lighthouse.
Um, yeah, I mean, I'm interested for sure. I just don't know where it's streaming without renting it. Jack says, I love Complete Unknown. Will you do an Oscar reaction show? Yeah, that's the show before the Oscars. We're gonna predict the Oscars. I was thinking about maybe we could do like a live reaction to the Oscars, but
That'd be fun. I mean,
it's like 3 hours, man.
oh, well, we can like tune in right when the awards actually like skip the early. Although I guess they sometimes do like an acting nomination at first, and then it's like
I think they
five
do.
awards that
Yeah, I think
people
they do
really
Best
care about.
Actress towards the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so. Oh my gosh. All right, maybe we won't
I do
because
know that Conan O'Brien is hosting, so I'm kind of excited for that.
I am excited for that. Maybe we're doing an Oscar predictions. Yeah, we're doing Oscar predictions before the Thursday before the show, and then yeah, I'll probably just watch Conan's monologue.
Yeah. Okay, so it's a complete unknown, and what would be the second?
Well, I'm trying to find out here where I can watch A Complete Unknown because it's not streaming anywhere. It's it's not giving me an answer. It's going to debut on February 25th
What's
on
oh,
VOD.
that's too late.
I guess, yeah.
What
And
up?
It's not streaming anywhere either. Or it's not being shown anywhere.
Let's see. Well, what other movies are on the Oscar list?
It's a good question. Oh, you're gonna go see. Jack's going to see Honora. That was really good. No, we discussed doing The Substance, but we both don't like body horror. So
Yeah, I'm not ready for The Substance.
We're not doing The Substance. It doesn't even look like it's streaming. Or oh my gosh, I cannot speak right now. Complete Unknown's like not even playing in theaters anywhere near me, besides an hour away.
That sucks.
Yeah. The heck? Okay. I guess we'll just have to think about it.
Yeah, that works for me.
Let me look up some more nominations to see if there's anything. I would be down for Nosferatu, but I think it's like $20 to rent still.
Streaming soon.
Yeah. I don't really want to pay $20 right now to watch it. All right.
Oh wait, let me look up one.
Conclave did Apprentice. We could do Flow in the Wild Robot.
I really loved Flow. I loved Flow.
I think those are both streaming.
Okay, let's do that because they're both animated. I heard Wild Robot was quite good.
All right, I get a rent Flow, but it's only $6. I'd be willing to do that. And then the Wild Robot, I believe, is on Peacock for free. So
okay,
yeah.
great. Oh, great. Oh shit! I actually canceled.
Let's do that. Jack has a question for you.
It is, yeah. It's called The Phoenician Scheme. Yeah, it's got like Benicio del Toro and Michael Cera and a bunch of people. Tom Hanks. So yeah,
sweet.
That'll be trailer would probably be out real soon, actually.
Sweet. Let me just look up. All right, yeah, let's shoot to do that then.
Okay.
Yeah, because that'll be good. We'll do an animated movie episode. Jackson, cool. I heard The Wild Robot is great. I heard it too. I heard the same thing, so I'm excited to see that. And I heard Flow was amazing too.
Flow is amazing.
Yeah,
Flow is kind of crazy.
It's about a cat. I love cats. So.
No dialogue.
No dialogue, huh?
It's just animal sounds, like natural animal sounds.
That'd be cool.
It's very cool. It's very cool.
Awesome. All right, let me just write that down so I don't forget. Yeah, maybe we can try to, because I'm sure after the Oscars, like.
What about Gladiator? But I'm down for the animated weekend. But Gladiator is like, I don't know. I wasn't crazy about it, but it'd be interesting to talk about it maybe.
So it looks like it's on Paramount Plus for free. Why don't you want to do Gladiator and then The Wild Robot? Because those are free streaming.
Sure, yeah, we can do that. We'll do Flow. We'll do Flow like a different time. Or I mean, I don't know. Maybe we should do the animated one because Flow is like nominated for a bunch of Oscars in the animated department.
Because
Gladiator 2 is pretty mid. So it like we shouldn't sacrifice Flow for Gladiator 2. But I do think Gladiator 2 would be interesting to talk about eventually.
All right. Yeah, why let's do the animated one. I think maybe those work
Those
better.
go well together.
And then I would love to talk about Complete Unknown and Nosferatu eventually too. I'm
Yeah.
sure after the Oscars, when they're not in so high demand, the streaming
Mhm.
prices will go down, and we can we can you know watch those two again or talk about them.
Yeah, we really don't have to do them before an Oscar show that we're not going to watch, probably, you know?
No, I just wanted to watch them all so I I could like give my opinion which one should be the best.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, I get that.
It is what it is. No worries though. We'll still do the show. Um, the Oscar prediction show for sure. Because I think even if we like haven't seen a film, we can still like predict.
Yeah, it's kind of it's not always based on like the movie itself.
It's more like politics a little bit too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
We could also do a show after talking about just what we felt about who got it and who didn't.
yeah.
And, you know.
Um, Jack is looking forward to the prediction show. If you want to call in, we can have you call in, or
Yeah, absolutely.
you could join us for that show and talk about because Jack sees a lot of movies.
Great.
Um,
Yeah, no, that'd be great.
he sees a lot of movies. He's a big movie buff like me, and his roommate too is he's been writing screenplays and
Oh, wow. Okay.
yeah, he's
Screenplays
also
are hard, man.
Jack.
Screenplays
It's
are
going
hard.
to be February 27th. So
Yeah. Yeah.
and also too, I just saw somewhere that when I was trying to figure out when Complete Unknown is going to be streaming or be able to rent digitally. It's going to be the 25th. So maybe I can watch it too, and we can quickly talk about that film with the
Sure. Yeah.
predictions. Um, or maybe we can wait. That way we can give it that like a full episode too.
Mm.
Yeah. So February 27th, Jack. That's when we'll do it. You can either join us or we can just have you call in, or you can just be in the comment section. Whatever you want to do, let me know. We are always open to that. That'd be awesome. So why don't we end it here? I'm gonna go eat some ice cream and chill. I've been watching a lot of South Park lately. I love South Park.
Okay.
Do you?
I'm not a fan. Not a fan.
I freaking love South Park, dude.
Yeah, not my
It's
thing.
it's such a. I think it really is such a smart show in a lot of ways. Like I truly believe its commentary on the world is a little like genius in some ways. Sometimes it does miss for
Mhm.
sure, but when it hits, I think it hits big time. You know.
Maybe I'm missing
Well,
something. I haven't
I
seen that much of it.
I think it is a bit of an acquired taste too. You know.
Yeah, it's such an
So,
unflattering animation in my opinion that it's just kind of like I don't want to. I mean, 25 seasons, like or plus probably at this point. You know, how
no, I
many
think
seasons is it?
25. I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, still
Yeah,
25.
yeah,
Um,
but I don't
I
know.
would like you don't need to watch them in order. Like I would
Yeah.
start maybe like season 6 or 7 and just
Okay.
start from there. Because that's when the show really picks up. In
Hmm.
my even before that a little bit. I've seen the entirety of the show. Like I've rewatched it a couple times now.
Yeah.
And whenever I rewatch it, I usually start from like season 3 or 4 and kind of go from
Okay.
there. So I would recommend maybe like 6 or 7 though, starting from there, and just don't take it too seriously. Just have fun with it. The
Okay.
animation style will grow on you for sure.
Word.
It's
Word.
a clever, smart show, dude. It
Okay.
really
I
is.
mean, I guess the way
It,
I see it is just like people going like, you know, "Bang, bang, 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 bang," like that's kind of like the like I can't even hear what they're saying half the time. I'm like, bro, like, do I like what is this? Like, is
I
this even
love it.
dialogue? Like,
I love it.
it sounds like just sounds.
Give it a shot. It's on HBO.
All right. I
Give it
guess
another shot.
you know what
It's
I've recently been watching though is John
yeah.
Oliver. Do you
Okay.
watch John Oliver?
I don't. I maybe I should though.
He's pretty smart.
Oh yeah.
Another person
What's
who I love though is Jon Stewart.
oh I love Jon Stewart.
Jon Stewart's the
I
goat, man. He's the
I
goat.
love Jon Stewart. I recently started watching him uh because of politics in
Yeah.
American life now, I was like, okay, I didn't watch him before really.
Hmm.
And I only watched monologue that he does on YouTube after the fact. I don't watch like
Yeah, same,
and maybe
same.
some interviews, and he does have a podcast now, which I've watched and enjoy.
Hmm.
I can't remember the name of it. He has like AOC on, and
Yeah, I got to
that's
start listening
really
to that.
Bernie Sanders is on, and
I've seen that on
so
Instagram.
I do like his monologue, and he only does the show one night, Monday nights, I believe now.
Yeah, no, he had a Bill O'Reilly on about 6 months ago,
Ooh, I should watch
and
that.
his Bill O'Reilly debates from the past were always like something
Legendary.
I loved.
Yeah.
So to see Bill O'Reilly come back, I don't like Bill O'Reilly, but I
No.
respect him for going on the Daily Show to some extent, you
Yeah,
know.
well,
But
it's interesting because they are similar in some ways. Bill O'Reilly is uh like Jon Stewart's a little bit more of a comedian, you know.
yeah, but he's kind of smarter.
Bill
Like
O'Reilly, not so much,
like I feel like
Commentator.
Bill O'Reilly thinks that he's being like really witty, and then Jon Stewart's kind of like walking circles around him,
A
and
little
Bill
bit.
O'Reilly isn't even fully aware of it. So I find that entertaining, you know. But
I'll have to
but there's
I'll
a
have to watch.
respect there. There's a respect there that I don't think,
Mutual respect for for the craft, I would say.
and they have a respect for each other, which I don't really think happens much anymore.
Yeah. I will maybe I'll watch some of those. I haven't watched too many. I've seen clips here and there of like Bill O'Reilly and Jon Stewart. I watched
Hmm.
um a, quite a bit of Jon Stewart in the past few weeks, and I've grown to really like him.
Yeah, no,
Um,
he's great.
I think he's one of those, like, I guess he's a late night television talk show host, technically.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
technically, he's the best one.
I
Next,
think he's the best one. And he's not like Jimmy Kimmel or The Tonight Show where they're just having like celebrities on to promote a movie. It's
Conan is
definitely
the best
more.
one of those.
What's that?
Conan is like the best,
Oh,
like
for
that talk show
sure.
host that
For
you were.
sure.
Yeah,
Conan is, I love Conan
Conan
so
O'Brien
freaking
is
much.
so he's the goat. He's the
He
other
is,
goat.
he is the go.
Yeah,
I love Conan. I don't like any of the other talk show hosts. I think they're not funny to me.
Colbert
That's
has become very cringy.
Yeah,
As
a
much as
lot of
I
those
love
guys are.
Colbert, like I think Colbert's a great guy, but
I don't know.
his interviews are good.
I don't know. I don't watch really any late night TV shows now. But like I said, I usually the monologue for Jon Stewart gets uploaded the same night, like Monday night on YouTube.
Yeah,
So usually I'm up late now, so I'll just watch that when that gets uploaded, and that has been a nice thing to watch in the past
yeah.
few
No, it's
weeks.
comforting. It's
It's
comforting.
a little comforting for sure,
The
and I do find
worst
it funny. I
The
do find it
worst one. The worst. Can you? Okay, I wanted to see if you can guess who the like late night talk show host is.
Jimmy Fallon.
There you go.
Yeah,
There you go.
I would
Terrible.
agree.
Terrible.
I don't think he's a bad dude. I don't like his type of comedy.
I've heard
I
he's
don't
pretty toxic.
I could see that. I could
But
see that.
yeah, but maybe who isn't? In that
I don't know.
industry.
I know he's had his like problems with alcohol and whatnot in the past, and you know, but I don't find that show funny at all. I think it's a little cringy and like I don't know. Late night television and the way we know it is so outdated now.
Yeah,
No young people are watching the Tonight Show. No one cares
yeah, I
about
know. I know.
or Jimmy Kimmel.
I
And
like
I
Jimmy
think
Kimmel.
you like Jimmy Kimmel.
I I think he's got the right views on things. I think he's cringy just as much as everyone else, but
Yeah, I
at
think
least he
he's.
says the right things, in my opinion.
I used to like Jimmy Kimmel a lot.
Mhm.
I did before he got overly political. Even though I do agree with a lot of what he says, I still like to. I don't know. I just like things not to be super political a lot of the times. Like if
Yeah.
he's a late night talk show host, I think it shouldn't necessarily be political all the time like it is now.
Mhm.
It's very much turned into that. It makes sense for like Jon Stewart because it's a political show. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, but I
I guess
used to
I
be big fan of Jimmy Kimmel. I used to like his segments on his show. I think But now I don't know. I just don't keep up with him. Harvey
Oh my
Picar's goat.
God.
Letterman is king.
Letterman is really great.
I didn't grow up with Letterman.
Letterman's funny.
I
There
don't.
was
I
talk show hosts back then were better. Like Conan O'Brien is kind of like he's really funny.
yeah.
But there was kind of a dignity that a lot of talk show hosts had that they just don't really now. And
I
Letterman
would
was
agree.
definitely one of them.
I
Johnny
would
Carson
agree.
was really good.
Yeah.
Craig Ferguson was hilarious.
I'm not too sure who that is.
He's a
Watch the
Scottish
Harvey
guy.
Picar Letterman interviews. I feel like maybe I have watched some of them.
I don't think I've seen that.
Do you remember Harvey Picar? What I was telling you, like the American Splendor book and
Yeah.
the comic,
Yeah.
yeah. And Harvey Picar he kind of got a little famous, a little more so outside of like the comics, because he would go on Letterman and
Okay.
say his mind. And in the movie they talk about American Splendor, which you definitely should watch. Still, it's on HBO.
Paul Giamatti, right?
What's that?
Paul Giamatti.
Yeah. In the movie, well, in real life too, he protests something. He wears a short shirt with protesting. I can't remember what it was.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't like NBC. I think that was the studio, one of the big TV studios, what they were doing. And so he protested. He was really pissed off about something. And he like got kicked off the show, and that was the end of their relationship.
Gotcha. That sounds interesting.
David Letterman too he just destroyed Harvey Picar. Like just his rebuttals, classic David Letterman of just going after someone.
Mm-hmm.
The legendary Letterman has said in recent years that Harvey was his best guest. That's interesting. Actually, speaking of politics, I believe David Letterman also said Donald Trump was one of his best guests as well.
Maybe before he might be talking. He's obviously talking about before Trump was a politician.
Yeah. Back in the early 2000s, 90s, whatever. Like Donald Trump was one of his best guests because if a guest bailed and canceled night of, David Letterman knew he could call Trump to be like, "Hey, come on the show," and he would always come on. There's some interview with Letterman talking about his relationship.
Did you see that video of Elon Musk's kid?
Oh man,
that shit was cracking me up. I was like on the train, just smiling, like thinking about it, like genuinely, like I was so happy by that. That was like,
that was
hilarious.
There's a lot to unpack with that. Interview.
Yeah. We don't have to get into that, but I just wanted to mention that. That was really funny.
Yeah, no, totally. Letterman was on NBC at the time, and they were owned by General Electric. Harvey had Letterman freaked out and coping. Harvey had what was the protest over Harvey Picar's ghost? I can't remember. I can't remember what it was that I guess General Electric was doing. Harvey Picar did not like it, and he was also pissed off about something else. Like, I don't want to give away spoilers for the movie, but he found out he had cancer at one point, and I think that was really kind of affecting him. And I think that was around the same time where he was just pissed off at the world, and I think he was having some troubles at home. And the movie's really good. You got to watch it, man. Really love that movie.
Yeah, no, I've known about the movie for a long time. Never got around to it. Who directed it?
I can't.
I'll look it up. But I do like Paul Giamatti.
I love Paul Giamatti. I really got to watch his John Adams portrayal. Is it?
Oh my god! Yeah, he's great.
Is that a TV show or is it a movie?
It is. Yeah, it's a 7-part series. He's great.
What's it on?
HBO.
All right, maybe I'll have to start that.
Yeah, it's slow. It's slow, but it's good.
Well, it's funny. I just read a book called A Little History of the United States. So I do like history a lot. And, I was learning a little bit about John Adams. And maybe I'll start that tonight. We'll see. I have to watch Invincible episode 4 still.
Yeah, Sam.
I got to watch that first. I think at the time it was the fact there was a writer strike and Letterman working through the strike. So Harvey was calling him a GE shell. Okay, I think you're right. That makes sense. Yeah.
Probably.
Why don't we end it? I'm tired. I gotta get some more water and some ice cream. But
Nice.
great show as always, man.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, we'll do animation next week with the Wild
Sounds good.
Robot and Flow. So that will be looking forward to that. I've been meaning to watch those two actually, so it's giving me a good excuse to
Yeah,
do just that.
Flow is pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. So that will be exciting. I'm gonna see actually because my mom works at the library, so I'm wondering if maybe they have a copy of Flow. I can.
Maybe.
They
I
might.
know it's going to the Criterion already, like the
Oh,
Criterion
wow.
collection.
Wow. It's pretty cool. Oh shoot. There's a great compilation of all the PCAR/Letterman interviews on YouTube. I may have to watch that. I would be interested in watching that. So Harvey PCAR, send me a link on Discord to it. I think we're friends on Discord, so yeah, send me a link to that. And I think that's gonna do it. Do you want to plug your Instagram, anything like that?
Sure, yeah, I can do that.
I
I always
I
forget
do.
what it is.
I always forget to put a link to it in the bio or the description. I always mean to, and I always forget.
Hold
So I have to
on, wait.
remind that. But everyone out there, please like, comment, subscribe if you have not done so already, and go
I think
follow
it's
Aidan on Instagram. I'll put it in the chat here.
just wait, hold on. Is it just like when you go to your profile page and it's the big name and the on the top, right? Okay, so yeah, it's just my name in all caps with a 67. So AIDANBASS 67.
AIDANBASS 67.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay, I put that in chat. I don't think the caps matter either on Instagram.
Okay.
I don't think that matters. But awesome. Thank you everyone for watching, and we will
Yeah,
catch
thank you
you
guys.
next Thursday to talk about the Wild Robot and Flow. Everyone take care. Have a good weekend. All that good jazz. And yeah, we'll see you.